All right, so who was Otto von Bismarck? How did Bismarck unify Germany? So as we're getting close to World War One, it's important to note how Germany united, how these German-speaking states entities were brought together, and how that's going to change the tide literally for these world powers in Europe and the rest of the world. So this is important to note, especially with this age of imperialism, which we're going to talk more about tomorrow. And I will have your game assignment. I'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow as well. So we'll start that towards the end of class. I'll probably take you down to the cafeteria. So then you have a little bit more room to roll dice. And hopefully they don't go flying off the table. Better not. Better not. So I'll probably take you down to the cafeteria to do that. And we'll play that game. Start it. And then Friday, we'll finish it up. After current events, who we have is Amelia and Nick. Addison, current event for Friday. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit more time to go. That work? Perfect. Thank you. Recording. No. All right. So I only have about a few slides yet, but to make sure I give you enough time to work on your assignment, like 3 minutes. Just joking. I want to make sure you give me some time on that. Okay, so who was Otto von Bismarck? Who was he? Who was he? Just watch the video. We just went through a lesson yesterday. Come on. Go ahead, Wyatt.
He was a German statesman and diplomat who got really big into Russian politics, and then he became prime minister of Germany until 1890.
All right, good job, good job. So Bismarck from Prussia, right? So we talked about a lot of these German-speaking areas, these entities, these states, all within Central Europe. And Prussia was the most innovative. They had the most, they had the strongest military when it came to their power, when it came to their innovation of the Industrial Revolution, that second wave. Yeah, a lot of that was inspired right there in Prussia, right? In order to rise as a world power, though, okay, Bismarck realized that he had to bring all these German-speaking entities together. And we talked a little bit about this before we got into the video, and he does it through what? Well, you said it earlier. Nationalism, yeah, good job. So this intensified version is a strong sense of national pride within your own country. And a way to do that is through building up the military, is duking it out, going to wars with your neighbors that were once the strongest land powers in the world at the time. So Bismarck, he utilized this military, these innovations to advance Germany and bring them together, bring these German-speaking territories, these states together in Central Europe. Okay, so yeah, with nationalism, with what we talked about, blood and iron yesterday. Okay, we also talked about a term yesterday. I wanted to remember what was his viewpoint, his ideology when it came to politics. It wasn't much of an ideology, but go ahead, Paul. Conservative. All right, so he was a conservative. Yeah, good job. But what was that term I told you to remember? Go ahead, Connor. Realpolitik. Yeah, good job. So realpolitik. And this is the idea where you're just going to utilize really common sense when it comes to making decisions at the national stage, when it comes to internal workings of the country, right? You're going to just focus on making better, Germany better, try to utilize nationalism to its best and to its finest to bring the country together. So yeah, with realpolitik, okay, this was a way to try to just kind of leave out these ideologies that might cause conflict. Okay, let's face it, today in the United States, we have a lot of conflict when it comes to political parties. So to try to push that out of the side and try to bring these German-speaking states together, he's going to use realpolitik to do so. Common sense. Try to appease some of these sides and these political parties the most he can, but at the same time have a clear message, have a clear objective, which at the time was just bringing these German-speaking states together, these territories, right? So with that, okay, he goes to war with who? Who did we talk about yesterday that he went to war with? Who did we talk about first? Go ahead, Parker. Denmark. Yep, good job. So with Bismarck, the main thing to note about how he can mobilize his troops, his army, his supplies, his military equipment to the front lines, quick, fast, and efficient. What do you utilize? What do you use? His advantage, Paul? The railroad. Yeah, good job. The railroad system. So Germany really was this first country that utilized this railroad system as means of transportation to get goods, materials, mobilize an army in locations fast and efficient. Okay, and like I said yesterday, try to catch the enemy. Try to surprise them. Try to surprise them. Try to get there before they can defend themselves, literally. And that's how Prussia, right? That's how Bismarck could really defeat these powers fast. Okay, so with Denmark, as he kind of takes over these territories and land up in the northern part of Europe, what can he now build up? What can now Germany eventually build up to rival, let's say, Great Britain? All their navy. Yeah, good job. So we get closer to World War I. One of the leading causes to World War I is how Germany's utilizing their advancements here with this naval buildup. Okay, they go through a naval arms race, pumping out dreadnoughts, eventually U-boats, okay, underwater boats, right? And what we know as submarines to their advantage. So we'll mention that here soon enough. Who else do they go to war with? So right after Denmark, they go more towards the south. Who do they go to war with? Go ahead, Matt. Austria. Austria, yep, good job. So Austria was known as one of the largest armies, land militaries in the world at this time, right, in the mid-1800s. So again, Bismarck utilizes the railroad system here, and these advancements in their weaponry, the military, to take over Austria within about 7 weeks, right? It didn't take too long. That was another name for war, 7 weeks war. So they dominate Austria. They take it over pretty quick. Right? It's not like they take their land from them. It's just to try to show and prove that Germany, if they come together, they will obviously be the most dominant world power one that might rival even Great Britain. All right, but that still wasn't enough to try to bring these other German-speaking territories together, these German-speaking states. So what was it? Who else did they go to war with finally?
I didn't do nothing. You're yelling at me.
Why? I'm asking you the question.
Oh, okay.
France, yeah, good job. So in 1870, right, Prussia, they didn't start it, right? They antagonized France and tried to attack them first. They motivated them in a way to try to attack them first to show that, Prussia, Germany wasn't the aggressor. Why do you think they did that? Let's say if they just went in guns a-blazing into France, okay, who might join this conflict, which would be really hard for them to try to obviously be successful. Why? Great Britain, yeah, good job. So they had to show that France was the aggressor here. So they kind of antagonized France in a way to try to shoot the first shot, right? To try to let the military go along here. And that's exactly what happened. So again, Bismarck utilized this railroad system, this means of transportation that was ahead of its time, to take it to France. And he did so within months, weeks really. And as he marched his troops into Paris, and eventually the Palace of Versailles, which I'll finish more with this presentation today, and this finally brought Germany together. Now they just defeated the second largest land military in the world with Austria, right? Now, just with the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, they defeated the largest land military in the world, France, within weeks, months. So what better way to try to bring on internationals? Right? What better way to try to unite the people under one cause than defeating these once large militaries, these strong militaries the world's ever seen? So with that, Bismarck unites Germany. He brings them into what we know as a world power. And this second wave of the Industrial Revolution, where all these innovations and these advancements, that's where it will kick off, right? That's where it will start. And this is a power now that's going to rise to challenge Great Britain. All right, is there any questions on that? Okay, so I just have a few more slides here as we're leading up to World War I. And this is going to make sense for imperialism. I don't have any terms for you today. All right, so we finished here, right? Alsace-Lorraine, this is a territory right between France and Germany that Germany will take. And the reason for it, why they wanted it, is because the Rhine River runs right through it. So what better way, again, to try to transport materials internally from Germany to, let's say, these outside areas, these colonies, and extracting resources from these colonies and bringing them back to Germany, than to have a river that flows right internally, right in the middle of Germany. So that's one of the biggest reasons why. Also, this territory is going to be used to defend themselves in case of another conflict. Let's say France, with this Franco-Prussian War that already happened, there's already a rivalry brewing between France and Germany. This rivalry is going to really be bitter, okay, to a point where World War I is going to happen, and we all know that these two powers are going to duke it out with one another. But this territory, Alsace-Lorraine, that's important to note as we're getting closer to World War I. Okay, Germany claims this for themselves, and this is building up even more of their nationalism. So if you think about France, though, what does their nationalism look like? They just got defeated by a country, really, that wasn't even unified just yet, within a matter of weeks and months. What is it like? What do you think? Paul? It's low, right? It's very low, to a point where they're going to have to look for alliances, right? So if they're ever going to fight a war with Germany, fight over a war with Germany again, chances are they need some help. And we'll talk how these alliances, at one point, their rivals, Great Britain and France, it's going to bring them together because they have a common foe with Germany. All right, so with Kaiser Wilhelm I, okay, he is the new emperor. He's the king here, and he was granted the Kaiser, this role as Kaiser, right after the Franco-Prussian War. They actually crowned him in the Palace of Versailles. So what other way to try to throw a jab into your rival, into your enemy, into your opposition, than crowning your new king, literally, right, in this huge palace at one point, where it was the beacon of absolutism. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. I thought that's something to know. In a way, for Germany, that's a way to rub it in. It's not like they're taking their land away from them. It's not like they're taking, let's say, Paris away from them. The goal was just to unify Germany. But to throw salt on the wound, they literally crowned their new emperor, their king of Germany, Kaiser Wilhelm I, in Versailles, and then paraded him through Paris. Can you imagine that? Can You imagine that? What a bitter rivalry that will start. When we get closer to World War II, Hitler will do something similar. He'll take pictures in front of the Eiffel Tower. He'll take out this trailer that where World War One was signed, the defeat of Germany. He'll bring it back out and have France actually sign their surrender in that same cart, which is really throwing some jabs at one another, right? It's really throwing salt in the wound. All right, one thing to note here with Bismarck, though, he wanted to try to control the Catholic Church. One of the biggest issues with corruption leading up to this point, which we talked quite a bit about already, was with the Catholic Church. So to try to rein it in a little bit and make sure that this isn't causing any more ideologies that will challenge this nationalist viewpoint of Germany, he wants to make sure that institution is under control. So that's why he has more of a control of this Catholic Church, and that's why he's looking to really show his power, building up Germany as world power, as he's trying to control a system that was corrupt for so long. Also, like I mentioned with realpolitik, he wanted to make sure he could keep everybody on the other side of the aisle, the other political party, really, in Germany at bay. And he introduces these social programs, okay, like a welfare system, a retirement for people that are of older age. So almost like Social Security in a way, to make sure that these people, let's say on the other aisle, are benefited, that they are receiving the same advancements, to try to bring Germany as one, not divided over politics. So again, with Bismarck, he appeased many other political parties within Germany to make sure that they could still rise as a power and to show that that is their main objective, not to fight internally. And we all know with politics today, that's really one of the biggest issues, especially here in the United States. There's constant debate, constant conflict over these political parties. So anyway, oh, where's that? What room is that? You can kind of see it in the background. Go ahead, Chris. The Hall of Mirrors. Yep, good job. So that's the Palace of Versailles. And that's where Kaiser Wilhelm I was crowned. What a way, like I said, to throw salt on the wound. Okay. What a way to try to take it to France once again. Hey, we took you over within weeks, about a month. We're not going to take your land from you, but we're going to crown our king right here in the Palace of Versailles. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Well, for France, not so much. But what a boost of nationalism for Germany. What a way to try to unite the people of Germany under one cause. And now when you look at continental Europe, there's one power that reigns above them all. That's Germany. Yeah, Great Britain's there. They're separated, though, as they're an island. So you can see these two powers, right, challenging one another here, building up to World War I. All right, so the last thing here I want to mention is the Congress of Vienna. A lot of these European powers that came together to try to bring stability, structure, peace back to Europe, well, they see Germany rising as a world power and really changing, altering what was said, what was performed at this Congress of Vienna after the Napoleonic Wars. It just seems like peace is out of the question, right? It seems like eventually things are going to crack even at a larger scale. Yeah, we had the Austro-Prussian War. Yeah, we had the Franco-Prussian War. Yeah, you had Germany invaded Denmark. But these were kind of smaller wars that didn't last too long. They weren't 5, 6, 10 years long, right? These were just kind of short skirmishes, really, where Germany just dominated. So now Europe's looking in an age of competition, okay, in an age where these countries are all going to compete against one another for power, for dominance, and when we move towards imperialism, taking these lands, okay, in other places around the world, like Africa. So that's what the activity is going to be about tomorrow, really, is this scramble for Africa. Right? These countries are all going to fight over the resources, materials that Africa provides. Okay, and this is going to grow these countries even more as world powers. All right, so with that, like I mentioned, with imperialism, this is going to start this age where these countries are going to look outward to try to fuel their economies, fuel their marketplaces, and grow them militarily. So yeah, Germany coming in, unifying and rising to power. It's throwing Europe in a whirlwind once again. Once again. All right, is there any questions? Any questions? All right, I'll leave this slide up here for you. And I'm going to go right to Canvas here. There's an assignment all about Bismarck and unifying Germany, just to make sure we all understand it leading up to World War I, that I'd like you to complete. So here's what it looks like. Here's reading. Sooner or later. And then the questions attached. There's a lot of big pictures there, I promise, and a map. All right, there's a lot of maps and pictures, so it's not like there's a big chunk of reading. Shouldn't take you too long. Oh, I love that line, right? And you got, oh wow, nice. 14 minutes or so. It's better than the 3, right? It's better than the 3. So I'll play some music for you guys as long as you're working here. Please use your time wisely. Okay, you don't want homework here, especially that when we're moving to our activity with the Scramble for Africa. So I'm going to talk about imperialism a little bit more tomorrow. We're going to jump right into the game, and then Friday, hopefully we get done with it, we finish it, and then we can move right to the test then for Tuesday of next week. Okay, we'll have a review Monday. Sound good? All right. So you guys know what to do. Please work on your assignment.